Hello, welcome to another tutorial with Tony from Back to Tech. Today we're going to dive into our Azure Automation account. We're going to create some runbooks. One of them will start, another one will stop, and another one will restart a VM. Depends on what your use case may be. A few prerequisites to make this happen is we need to have a log analytics workspace resource created. It needs to be linked to your Azure Automation account. If you don't have one, we'll go over that in this video. So all the prerequisites are going to be covered in this video, so stay tuned. All right, the first thing we need to do here is to go ahead and create a log analytics workspace. All right, create. We'll call it all right. There's a thing to keep in mind when you're creating your workspace. There's a mapping consideration. So wherever you choose to do your workspace has a designated location for your automation account when you link to it. So I'm going to choose East US 1, an existing resource group, and the automation account will have to be in the same resource group as well. And then pay as you go. Okay. Alright, I'm going to pause the video and wait until this is done. Okay, the next step is to create an automation account. Alright, give a name. That's good. Oops. And we're gonna do the same resource group as our log analytics workspace. And this has to be in EUS 2 because once again, the mapping, so our automation has to be in EUS 2. The log analytics is in US 1. Right. So let's do yes, create. Now while our automation account is creating, let's go to our log analytics workspace and VMs. And I already have a VM created, so I'm going to go ahead and connect that VM to this workspace. What this will do is it'll install an agent on this VM, and now I can collect some data from it. Alright, we're going to wait for this to finish. Alright, so an automation account was already created, so let's go do that. Here's our automation account. And if we scroll down to linked workspace, we'll see that there's no workspace linked to it. So this is key. You need to link the workspace to your automation account. So to do that, there are many articles out there how to do that, and none of them work for me except if I just go to update management, which has nothing to do with what we're doing now. It enables you to link to an analytics workspace programmatically, so it's quite easy. Just select your workspace and hit enable. Alright, so here we got both things that we just did. We linked the automation account to the log analytics workspace, successful, and we connected the VM to the log analytics workspace. So we should be good now. Let's scroll down to link workspace, and we'll see that we're linked to the log analytics workspace that we just created in ECUS. We go to that one and we go down to automation account, we'll see the similar thing, but vice versa. All right. So now we have our requirements met in order to do the scripts. So to do that, let's go to Runbooks, and you'll see some pre-made books that Microsoft provides. I'm just going to go ahead and delete those. Alright, so I have some scripts that I already made Well, actually, I didn't make them. I edited them a few, but it's all open source from GitHub. So let me create a runbook, and this one would be called Start VM Part 1. So it's going to be PowerShell, and it's going to be Part 1 for Start VM. Alright, that's good enough for me. And why Part 1 is because the scripts that I have for starting a VM, it's in two, divided in two, and then the script that I have for stop, it's also divided in two. So it's Part 1, Part 2. And I'll explain how they work as we execute them. So let me go ahead and grab script 1. Alright. Paste. Alright, so what we're looking at here is basically this script is going to ask for 3 parameters. First parameter is the resource group where the automation account is, and let's change the default value to the resource group that I have. So it's called RG personal, I think. Oh goodness. There we go. RG personal development. All right. Personal and development. And so if I don't put a parameter on this, when I ask for this one, this is what it's going to take. Automation account is going to be called auto personal. Just to double check, my automation account is okay. And then the resource name tag. This is when it can get confusing for you. So this script is based on tags. So it's gonna get a VM that has a specific tag, and it'll do whichever, the start, stop, or restart. So this one is in particular, what you need to change on the script is these 3 things right here. And when you come down here, line 44, you'll see a resource name. That's the name of my tag, and it's actually, I'm not sure if it's case sensitive, but this is the name of the key of my tag, and then the value it's gonna get, the resource name tag parameter that's asking at the beginning. So to make better sense, if we go to my VM here, my VM has a tag named resource name, and the value is test VM. And I made a policy to where it requires the resource name. That way I can use this tag on automations to stop and restart. So it's kind of like working its way around. So the name, the value that I chose for the key is exactly this, the name of the VM. So test VM for the value. And so when we go to the script, for it to make better sense, actually let's change this to test VM. All right, now it's better. And we're gonna go ahead and publish that. And I want to start this so that you can see what the parameters look like when it asks. So now I click start, and it's going to ask me for those parameters that I put there. So by default, it's going to do the only resource group that I have, the only automation account that I have, and then the VM, as you can see, is asking for a resource name tag, resource name, and the tag is test VM. And if I didn't have that there and I wanted to use a different VM, that VM would have its own resource name. And so let's just put test VM here, and okay. Now you'll see on the output Just let's give it a second. Alright, so if we hit refresh, we'll get the last part of this script. So what this script really did was to identify the VM that we want to do the command to. So it just identified the VM. So let's just remember that. Alright, so if we go back to our runbooks, let's create a second runbook, and this one will be called Start VM Part 2. And then this will be a PowerShell script. No, part 2 of. That's good enough. It'll create, and let me go ahead and get that second part of the script. Okay, paste. And as you can see here, it's very short and there's nothing we need to do. This is going to be basically it's going to trigger after the first one goes. So the first one is going to find the VM, and then if it finds a VM with the correct tags, then it's going to execute the second script. But it has to be on the runbook. If this wasn't there and published, all you'll get is, you know, the first part, which was simply just logging in and identifying the VM. So now you have just the VM, but you didn't activate the second part. So that's what the second script will do. So let's do something. Let's stop that VM. And now these two are published. And in the meantime, while the VM is stopping, I'm gonna go ahead and add the stop script. And it's identical. The only thing we need to do is on the part 1, you need to change the parameters and the tag name if you want to change the tag name. It's up to you. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Stop VM part 1. And let me get that script. And again, we'll change this. All right. Then just this, just to be safe. All right, safe. We'll publish. Then again, if you were to hit start on that, it asks for the same parameters. In this case, it's going to do a stop script. Let's go back and upload our last and part 2. Oops. Okay. Part 2, PowerShell. Part 2 stop VM. All right, and on that one we'll put the last script. Actually, I have one more script, but it's for the restart, but we'll do that one very last after we test these ones right here. All right, nothing to change here, just save and publish. Okay, one thing, let's check our VM. Still deallocating. Let's refresh the browser. Sometimes. Okay, still deallocating. All right, we'll wait. All right, while we wait for the VM to stop, let's do a quick fix here because I missed a part. Go in the first script, start at the very bottom. If we see right here in line 81, we'll see start VM by resource name tag. this is the name of the next script that it is expecting to execute, but it's not that name, so we have to change that. So let's go to our runbooks and get that name before we run into some errors. So that's what we'll go on there. Hit save and publish. And then let's get the part 2 as well. Let's get that and then go to script part 1 or stop part 1, excuse me, edit at the very bottom. It's also expecting a different name for a script, and we'll give it the correct one. All right, perfect. Save. Okay, now we're looking good. Let's see if our VM decided to stop. It did. All right. Well, let's test this out. All right. Let's execute the start script. So I'm going to start it, and I'm not going to put any parameters because they're all defaulted to the ones I want anyways. Okay. Now we'll see an output. Instead of just seeing the login and identifying the environment after authenticated, you also see a little bit more of an output. There we go. So we have automation. So this is basically saying that was successful. So we'll go back, refresh that, and complete it. So now we'll go to our VM, do a refresh, ta-da. So it works. All right, we're good there. Let's go to, we don't need to do this one now because we know it executed on its own. So now we do a stop part 1. We start it. We don't want to change anything, it's already defaulted. Go to output. And just a few seconds later, now we got the result here. All right, so part 2, it executed, it's running, and we're probably going to see this deallocated now. Yep. It works. So that is the start and stop. Now you know where you can go on the script itself to edit your tag. If you want to use a different tag, come to this part 1 script for both start and stop. Change your parameters up here if you want to. And here in line 44, you can see the resource name. This is the key of my tag. You can change that to locate a VM by whatever tag you want. And don't touch this because this is, or you can change it to whatever more prettier name you want, but this is my parameter name up here. That, so, and then lastly, at the very bottom of both part 1 of your start and stop, you need to come out here and change the name of whatever name of your second script will be, because you may choose a different name. As you saw, I had to change mine because it was a different name from a previous script. Publish. I don't know why, if I hadn't already. Okay. So now let's jump into the last script. The last script is a restart VM. So this one, if you just want to restart the VM, it has to be on for this script to work. Otherwise, you'll probably get an error. Script to restart VM. Good to go. And let me get the last part of that script. All right, I think I got this one from GitHub a while back. Can't remember, but here you just got 2 parameters. You got your automation resource group and your target VM. Let's change that resource group to RG, to my resource group, and then the target VM here will also give, let's find it first so you can understand it. If you go down here in line 35, it's creating a resource variable, and it contains your automation resource group that you provided up here as the key, and the VM as the value. So I don't know how this works, honestly, but I do know that it's taking these two variables and plugging them into the resource, and then it's saying for each resource and the resources that we just created with these two values, and then it's gonna do something else and then restart our VM. I hope that explanation worked. So we'll just put test VM since that's the name of our VM. This is not using tags, by the way. No tags. So save, publish. Let's start our VM again because it needs to be on. Oh great, it's deallocating still. We'll have to wait. Alright, our VM is stopped and I started it again so we can execute our script. One quick thing I want to show, we go to activity log. We'll see that the last activity was a start VM just a minute ago when I started it. So now let's go to our restart script. Let's fire it up. I don't need to change anything again. It's all defaulted to my specific resources. And I'll go to output. Now it's logging into Azure, and all right, it's in our environment. And we'll just get a few lines saying okay, okay, or true, or something like that when it's finished. All right, about 2 minutes later, here we go. It finished, completed, true, okay, okay. That's what you want to see. If we go back, the job was completed. Now let's go to our VM and refresh our log. We had a restart VM 2 minutes ago. It was accepted. And we'll start it first and then accepted, and the VM restarted. So there you go. If you are interested on these scripts, crap, I don't even have a GitHub. Well, I do, but I never used it. This is actually one of my very first tutorials. So what I'll do is I'll leave my GitHub link in the descriptions of the video, and you can go ahead and download those and edit them as you please. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave some comments on what you think I should do better and what I should not do next time. This is like video number 2, I think. But anyways, please like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.